Welcome to the Dead Pit. Carl from games Brrraaains A Head-Banging Life here with my guest Jack Donovan, bass player from the, how would you describe them? Psychedelic, stoner, doom, rock, heavyweight Elder.
I love it. I love it. Throw them all in there. Why not?
It's it is that ignoring the meshing of genres and just going, well, you got to describe this as someone who's never heard you before.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
So Jack will offer up 5 things within the worlds of gaming, horror, heavy metal, rock, and more that he dislikes or that annoy him, and he'd like to send to the dead pit, where hungry zombies will tear it apart, never to be seen again. However, there is a catch, and it is that I will be making the final decision on whether they go into the dead pit or not. It's up to Jack to deliver a convincing case as to why they belong among the dead. Convince me. I'm very easy to convince. I dislike a lot. So do that and it goes in. Jack, it's a pleasure to talk to you. How are you doing?
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here, Carl. I'm doing very well. In this time of COVID, I have been working a lot at my local supermarket in the deli, slicing delicious meats to Americans that just can't get enough of them. They can't seem to stay away.
Oh, we can't start any interview off these days without talking about the elephant in the room. You've already mentioned it, and I guess that's the biggest question. How have you been coping with this complete, what's the word, unearthing of your life?
It's been tough, and I think that not to take an obvious spot, but this has to be the first one thrown in the pit of death, the dead pit, whatever you call it. This COVID-19 just deserves to be in there.
Right.
It is just a bum rush of anxiety and change that has affected, I mean, everybody, but at least for me and Elder, our tours are postponed. Like
Yeah.
today, our new album Omens is released today,
Of course.
as dumb as this sounds, is a lack of like the pomp and circumstance that I kind of expected from the album release day. Like I went to work today, and then
Yeah.
and like I get all the notifications on all the social media, and it's wonderful, but it's just something is just missing, and it's just a
Yeah.
bit sad. Yeah.
I completely understand that. It's a happy day, but it's like sharing your birthday with a funeral. You know,
Sure.
yeah, and
Absolutely.
yeah, it's a day you can celebrate, and it's great to get all your stats come in and say, hey, this is what's going on, and everyone's noticing it, but it's just missing that thing.
It's tough. It's tough for everybody. But these things like this here, this interview is, there's the light on the horizon, and it will come.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel quite positive about the speed, I guess, that life could potentially return back to normal?
Absolutely. I think I'm optimistic. I think that people are itching to get back to normal. It's gonna shake the system of everything, every system.
Yeah.
From top down, everybody's affected by it. But I think that people are eager enough to get back to that way of life that I hope it runs smoothly.
And what would a return to normal life like be for you in regards to that?
I mean, it'd be going on tour.
Yeah.
It'd be these dates that were set in stone months ago that we were looking forward to for so long. Come back and just be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so sad to think that. I think that because all the other guys in Elder, they live in Berlin, and I'm here in Massachusetts in the U.S. It's just sad to think about. I believe it's next or like 5 days from now that they would have been landing in Boston, and we would have been rehearsing for tour, which we were starting in early May.
Yeah.
And I just can't wait until that is a reality again.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Because that's the most scary thing, I guess, as well for our kind of time, is the sort of word on the street, as it is that music industry and bars and pubs and clubs and all that will be potentially the last things to kind of get back to normal.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about the music industry, and you go through the whole catalog of positions in it, and it's like from the bookers to the venues to all the things, they're piecing their lives back together individually, but it's a symbiotic thing, so they all have to be working kind of together. It seems so large.
Yeah. You kind of, when you talk about it and you kind of focus on the bands who can't go out and tour and can't do this and all that, you kind of forget about that bigger picture. It's very easy to overlook it. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of cogs in this machine, and you're right. It's gonna be step by step when they all get going again, but it will happen.
Yeah, it will happen. I agree. And do you think as well, kind of like when things do sort of slide back that way, that there'll be fear from people to kind of come out to your shows because of the gathering, or there'll just be a hunger?
I think that there will be more of a hunger. Once, I mean, and who knows, from whatever agency or government or whatever is going to say, like, oh, everything's okay. Like, when that happens, I think that people are going to just be ravenous.
Stampede, man.
Yeah.
Stampede. Yeah, I don't know how, because the comparison between where we are in London and England to where you are, and it's, obviously no gigs at all, major festivals across Europe and the world all being cancelled. The big ones, the likes of Hellfest and Wacken.
Yep.
I
mean, here in the States, Psycho Las Vegas just got postponed, and that was like the flagship for American heavy music festivals, which we haven't had in so many years. And all of a sudden, the Psycho is just killing it. Year after year, it's so good, and it's getting so big. And this is a huge hit. It's just tough.
So obviously, the fact you started with it, what kind of person would I be if I was like, no, COVID-19 stays out? That would be wouldn't be a good look.
No, it wouldn't be. Yeah, it was low-hanging fruit. I just had to take it.
Considering in this country as well, our mantra is stay home, save lives, protect the NHS. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, it's crazy times, but yeah, definitely cast COVID off into the dead pit.
There you go. It's done. It's absolutely done. So as you already said, today is release day. Omens. Even though you've got the kind of feel that it's not as big as perhaps you wanted to be, how do you feel about the release overall? Now that it's out and it's in people's ears?
It's an excellent feeling, and as I said, seeing all the notifications, I was like looking at them, and there's so much positive feedback, and that's extremely encouraging. There's nothing we can do, so we have to kind of just roll with it right now, and it's been good so far. I am super excited about the album. I think it's the best thing that we've made, and I think it's going to be the way that people receive it and accept it is just different. So we just have to, adapt.
Yeah. And was there at any point where you considered delaying it, as many other bands have done?
Yeah, there were talks of delaying and speeding up the process. On one side, that people are quarantined and at home, and now's the time to give them something new. I mean, especially our music, which is like, I think, kind of like hopeful, like isolationist music a bit, but
yes,
with extremely like hopeful themes in it, and at least in the music, maybe not lyrically so much, but the music evokes in me just like the urge to like do something and get something done. So there's that.
I completely understand that as well. I think if I remember what I wrote at the end of my review for it, it was, this is not something that you just put on in the background while you're busy doing something else. You take the time. It's
Right.
only 5 tracks, all right, that's a long one, but you take the time, you sit down, you surround yourself by it. And
Right.
I think that works.
Yeah, and I hope that you surround yourself by it, and after that, it inspires. Then you put on the music that you put on in the background, and you like get stuff done with a purpose or something like that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you didn't delay it, because it's bloody good. Congratulations! It really is an incredible piece of work.
Yeah, and of course, you don't want to delay it. We made this thing in in late December, and we're itching for it to get out.
Yeah.
It's like we worked so hard on this thing. It's like, let the people hear it. Let's go.
And what difference is delaying it by another 2 weeks going to really make?
Right.
I mean, from what I gather, the bands that have sort of been doing that seems to have come from print issues more than anything else. Like the delay because they can't get vinyls made and so on.
Right, exactly. And that's another thing. It wasn't disappointing. But I see all the, I believe it's the European pre-orders of the album, of the vinyl.
Yeah.
That everybody's like, oh, got the vinyl today, like 2 days before release day. I haven't even seen the thing. And I'm like, I'm so jealous.
Oh, that's brilliant. This is the world we live in now, where the artist himself can't see the fucking vinyl.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, all I want to do is put it on. And when I got home from work today, I put the Spotify stream on, just be like, what does this sound like on like these speakers? And I mean, it sounds great and it's super fun, but man, I want to drop the needle on that wax so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not sick of hearing it then? You're still enjoying it yourself? Because I know a lot of bands, after having to do so much work in an album, don't want to hear it.
I get that. No, I still like listening to it. I think that it's the coolest thing or the best sounding thing we've made in the studio. So it's still amazing. Every time I hear it, I'm like, oh yeah. And then it'll be like, oh, Nick, nice one. Like, like that was beautiful. And like, I still, for me, I get sick of songs when we play them live.
Okay.
That's when I'm like, okay, I could go like, this isn't shit talk about Elder or anything, but I don't think I could ever listen to Gemini ever again.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, how many times I've heard that song?
It's like Motorhead's Ace of Spades, right? Lemmy hated playing it, but he knew he had to.
You have to, you have to, and I understand that completely. But there's a little part of me that's like, new stuff is more fun. Like,
I think you wouldn't be showing passion or interest in your music if you were like, no, I'm happy enough to play the old stuff, forget the new stuff. That's just not important. You want to be constantly moving forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, second one then. What do you have for the Dead Pit?
The second one I have, and again, I'm kind of just going off the cuff on some of these.
Mm.
And it probably wouldn't work so well in the Dead Pit, but I hate when I go into someone's kitchen and they have dull knives so fucking much. It's the most infuriating thing to me. It's just lazy. It's dangerous. Oh my God. Nothing boils my blood more than when I use a dull knife. Okay. I know that's kind of dumb, but when I first was thinking about things I hate, I was like, oh, this is the number one thing that I fucking hate.
I love it. We want people to be quite specific about these things. The idea is it grinds your gears. Dull knives. Okay, because when you were starting with that, it was beginning to make you sound like you were Michael Myers Psycho or something. When I go in to get that knife and it's dull, it's no good.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that might be true as well. But it's, oh man, like when you're trying to just cook something delicious, and I love cooking, nothing worse than walking into someone's house and just seeing this piss poor knife. It's like, come on, guys, what are you doing?
Okay, so you've got a real chef's head about you when it comes to things like that.
Oh, absolutely. Everything needs to be prim and proper in the kitchen, and that's like the number one thing that will just set me off. And I might even walk away from my ideas because it's a fucking dull knife.
Wow.
So let the zombies play with them.
Yeah. Well, they're not going to do any damage. They're dull.
Exactly. Like I just can't stand it.
Is there anything particular that you would say you cook the best?
Anything in particular that I cook the best?
Yeah, that people say.
I would say lately, because in Massachusetts the fishing industry is still working, and you can actually go up to the boats that come in, especially like New Bedford, which is a city near that I live near.
Mm.
You can go right up to the boat and buy fish and shellfish directly from them now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because they're not distributing so much, so they just sell it straight from the boat, which is fucking badass.
Yeah, that's fresh.
I mean, it's not a. There's no positive of COVID, but it's a change that I'm like, this is great. It's like, okay, get it straight from the boat, like that's amazing. So I've been doing a lot of like cod fish fries lately that I would rather eat than going to a restaurant and getting it. So that's mine right now.
Yeah, I love that. It's again, it's such a world apart. If what we got, the Thames. You don't want to fish in that.
For sure. Yeah, I'm fortunate that I live on the ocean. It's great.
Dull knives.
Dull knives.
Of course. I see no reason why it can't go in the dead pit. I don't really have an opinion either way. I'm not much of a cook. Yeah, there you go. 2 for 2.
I love it. Fucking toss them in. Let's go.
So, what insight could you share, if anything, that kind of inspired the writing behind Omens?
Behind Omens. Okay, so as I stated earlier, we are a band apart.
Yep.
And we kind of, there's been a big, not a shakeup, but we got a new drummer who's German, and that happened within the last year.
Yeah. And
then our new guitarist, Mike, he just moved to Berlin. But Nick's been living there for like 4 years now, I think. So before this, we were already kind of a band apart.
Yeah.
And now things have like shifted towards, or the majority are in Berlin.
Yeah.
But a lot of the ideas, I mean, Nick is the main songwriter for sure. But a lot of those ideas are old and that we would jam on while rehearsing for tour when we're all together, or like riff ideas sent via the internet. Exactly. And you learn everything and you jam on it, and then everything kind of comes together slowly. It starts to come together as a complete song, and it's quite beautiful that it works this way.
I imagine at the start it seems like it will never work. Like when you first start, like this is never going to be something.
Right. Exactly. And also, there's a big difference between sharing ideas and going to the studio is that you share the ideas, and so I'll get a file, and then I'll sit down with my bass and I'll learn it. And then you learn it and you listen to how it's played, and then you start jamming it and you're like, oh, I have this idea.
Yeah.
And then when we all get together, we start playing it, and then that's when like the tug, not the tug of war, but like, oh, like, will this work? And then new things get put in, and then you add your own personal playing flourishes to it, and it's actually kind of nice when you hear like the demo compared to the final product.
It's something I can never relate to because I'm not in any way a musician and stuff like that. But I'm always fascinated to hear about the processes behind how a band, particularly one with such a rich history like yourselves, put this together. And it is always wonderful to hear it, that it comes with such in such chaotic fashion.
Oh, for sure. But chaos reigns.
Yes, and ultimately talent shines through. So chaos is chaos until the people, yourselves, are able to turn it into what we end up with.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, that's what the studio is. It's the chaos wrangler.
Yeah, it's literally putting a leash on things.
Exactly, which is great. It's really good for musicians to have that.
And you... Sorry, go on.
No. You go.
Do you, from your point of view, personally, find inspiration still comes easy to you after so much time?
Inspiration for
music,
writing?
for writing, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I love playing every day. I definitely play. I'm more in the box when I'm like at home. So I make music just like on my computer or my iPad. More so than playing instruments. I also just have fucking loud amps. I don't have like a small amp. So every now and then I grace my neighborhood with like pounding distorted bass riffs.
Lucky them.
Yeah. I'm nice. I do it around like noon. So like I'm like, nobody can, if you're still asleep, like that's a problem. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm like in the box, and recently just by myself I've been making a lot of shitty country music because it's super fun. Super easy. Yeah, it's a blast.
You say it's shitty. Why is it shitty?
It's the worst, but it's the best as well.
You say that now, and in 10 years' time, keep all those demos and ideas, and you might have yourself a solo album.
Oh yeah, definitely, and that's what I'm going for. One day, just release just like this awful country album.
You wouldn't be the first, so
It's true.
Okay, then, your third nomination for the Dead Pit.
For the Dead Pit. Let's see here. I have a couple. Okay, so I feel like this might... No? I don't know if I want to do this one. Okay. I feel like it's mean.
Okay, no, well...
Okay, so... And this is... And not aimed at anybody in particular, and this also has to do with playing music live. But do you know the term Punisher?
The term Punisher?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do.
So, I know it's gonna make my ego sound like so much, but like when you're in a band, and Elder, I think we pride ourselves on. Like, we sell our own merch sometimes. We hang out with the crowd. Like, of course. Like, it's great to, like, talk to fans. But there are fans every now and then that it's just relentless questions and relentless talk. And there's no, like, social cue to them of a break in the conversation. And this is what we call a Punisher.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I hate there are fans. That's why it's like a tough one for me, because they're fans, and that we love them. But there are some times when we're on tour that I just want to throw them straight into the dead pit.
Oh no, I get it completely. I have, now you're talking about it, I've stood at a merch stand waiting to buy something, and there's someone in front who's talking to a band member, and the transaction's done, they've had the chat, they've had a photo, and you can see the band looking at me, wanting to sell more merch and all that.
Exactly. And being in the band and being a nice person, especially like all the Elder guys are, we're all nice guys. It's hard to be rude, or you don't want to be rude, and you want to see it through. But then there's like a cutoff point where it's like, all right.
Really difficult.
Man. Like, there are other people, like, exactly in the merch line that want to buy stuff, like, be respectful, move it along, keep it moving. Like,
yeah. As well, if you're a fan, get out of the way so you can sell more merch. You've got a limited amount of time.
Exactly.
Oh, it's almost like not quite as bad as that, but the obsessive bunny boiler type, I guess, where it's great to have passionate fans, but there's a line between obsessive and passionate.
Right. Or there's and it's not really, I wouldn't say they're obsessive. It's more of just realizing that this is a band that you like and that they want to talk to everybody, and and you can't give 100% effort to just one fan at a show, and like it's that battle of like being rude or not, and at some shows it's annoying.
Of course it is, absolutely.
Yeah,
and have you ever had anyone come up to you and say the famous line, "I'm your world's #1 fan"?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Does that scare you when someone says that?
It doesn't scare me. It makes me think. Makes me think about people.
Okay. Like, you're being very diplomatic here. Very diplomatic.
I have to be because
absolutely.
I love all the fans, but there are some times that it's just like, all right, this has got to end. Like, there's more. We have things to do.
Yeah, and you know, everyone's there to see you, and if they have particularly if they have an opportunity, because you still feel like you're in a position where you want to talk to the fans, and you've got that time, and you get to say hello and stuff like that, because obviously the larger you are, the more disconnected you become, it seems. So the position you're in is still strong on that front.
Absolutely.
I think I can agree with you on this one. Having, like, the fact that you stopped, once you explained it, it flashed me back to being at a venue in this country in London called the Underworld, and standing there and being like, I really want to buy this shirt. This guy won't move. Yeah, you're 3 for 3. This goes in the dead pit. For you, what's your personal favourite track off Omens? The one that you really loved playing on, and that when you listen back that you're like, oh, I love how I sound in that.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a 2-part answer here. Because for me, there's always there's always two parts about a song that I love, an Elder song. There's how much the emotion that I evoke from it, especially playing live, like the riffs that make me kind of feel like like there are some songs that like I'm like, yes, like this is exactly what I want to play this and like bring this to you, this emotion. So there's those tracks, and then I have the tracks that are the most fun to play. Yeah. Like technical wise, like super fun. Like maybe I have some bass like slicks in there like that are like that I'm like, oh yeah, that's me right there. Yeah. So for the first one, it's going to be the single Embers. Okay. It is, as far as that. Oh, sorry. The first one is going to be the technical one, the playing one. It's Embers. Okay. Which is the single that we released, and that song for the bass, if you dial in and listen to the bass, it is so technical and it's hard, but it's so rewarding. Like there are so many like bass runs, and I'll land on a harmony with like Nick or Mike Risberg, and like that's just like, oh yeah, and then you just keep playing, and it's like super fun. Yeah. And so that's my technical playing one, at least right now. Like before, oh god, the embarrassing thing is when you blank on your own fucking songs. What the hell was it? Oh, The Falling Veil. Okay, there's a reason why, because the demo, The Falling Veil, which is on Reflections of a Floating World, that was the one before that was technically the most fun to play. Okay. Like, super fun. And I had a hard time remembering it because we had a demo name for it that I've always known it as. And of course. We had like a title change. So that's but so yeah, that is the most fun song to play for sure. And then the other song is, oh boy, sorry. My other favorite song to play is One Light Retreating, which is the last track on the album, because to me it's the coolest. I mean, Nick is an amazing songwriter, but One Night Retreating is this beautiful piece that just blends heavy with pretty, and it achieves that somehow. And I'm every time I listen to the track, I'm blown away by it.
Yeah,
and I think it's so cool. I think as far as listener wise and Elder fan wise, I don't think it's going to be like their favorite track, maybe.
Ooh, interesting. I get what you're saying, because it really depends what you want from it. So you talked about emotions and stuff like that, and that's very, for me, I'm talking on a personal point of view. For me, I want to feel when I listen to music. Oh, I can enjoy a headbanger, and I can enjoy technicality, and I can enjoy pits and wild grindcore as much as anything else. But if you make me feel, that's where I really, really think. And I'm glad it's that song you chose, because that is my not just favourite song off the album, but maybe my favourite Elder song to date. It's wonderful. Cool. It's beautiful.
Cool. That makes me really happy, because that is my favorite song too. Like, it is so much fun, and it's so different, but still has the Elder feel to it.
Yeah,
but it's fucking different. Like, it's pretty.
Yeah.
and like, that's where I am.
Outro.
Right, it's a perfect outro, exactly. And so I think that is my absolute favorite song.
Yeah, absolutely. So how does it feel then when you see or hear Elder being described as an inspiration for brand new bands trying to sort of delve into that psych style sound?
I love it. I say absolutely go for it. That's amazing that we can evoke that in some people, or be the impetus to make people try to make music like this. Because the one thing about Elder is I love being in this band because this is music that I would listen to.
Yeah.
Like, had I not been in the band, I'd probably be the biggest Elder fan. Like, that would probably be my favorite shit. But I am in the band. I mean, okay, yeah, what comes first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. But I love this music, and yeah, it's gonna inspire some dudes to make some ripping tracks, or like, I don't know, like copy it and then find their way. Because I feel like that's how we started. Like, our first the self-titled album is like sleep fucking like Bongzilla worship, because that's like that's the first bands that we listened to back then when we were in like a high school.
Yeah,
and then we developed from that. So
doesn't make you feel old though.
Nah. I mean, yeah, I guess, but I think we're in a good stride for our age, and no, I don't feel old yet.
No, absolutely. Your fourth nomination for the Dead Pit, then.
And fourth nomination, I'm gonna take some Elder input on this one, because I asked the guys. I was like, what do I hate?
Okay.
because it is a hard question when you aren't like thinking about that or mad at something. And Nick had the first one, and he said you hate when you get spanked without knowing that you're gonna get, like, surprise spanking.
Oh, like you're standing there having a chat and someone walks up behind you and...
Right, exactly. When that happens to me, my eyes go red. And I literally, like, want to kill the person that did it to me.
Really? So no one, even knowing that, no one ever tries to mess around with you just by doing it then?
No, it's just, I mean, obviously it's just going to be my good friends, but fuck that, dude. Throw it in the fucking dead pit.
I'm just trying to think what visual representation I'm going to use for this when it goes in the pit. And
I don't know. This is just something that I hate. I could do without.
It's a good one. I like it. Yeah, we can't talk it through too much because we'll start delving into how many times you've been spanked in your lifetime, and that's an odd question.
That is an odd question. That might unearth some like deep dark, some deep dark emotional things from me.
The truth be told, I've rarely been surprise spanked, but I imagine I wouldn't like it. So yes, this goes in as well. 4 for 4.
Excellent.
So, other than work, what else is kind of keeping you busy at the moment? Is it just, as you say, messing around with the music?
No, but I think I hit on both topics. It's messing around with the music,
Yeah.
and I'm playing a little bit of Animal Crossing right now too, which is, I love it. I can't deny.
Yeah,
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. But yeah, cooking is the number one. I work at the supermarket. There are some perks that come with it, and that is like if there's stuff that isn't available, I know when it comes in, and like I have first dibs on it.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's just been like every night just chefing up something different.
Oh,
And
lovely.
so much fun. It's probably not the healthiest thing, but it's decadent in a way. I eat well every night. So I love that.
Okay, so you got plenty to kind of keep you busy, as you say. You got your relaxing time. That's what Animal Crossing is. That's your time to relax.
Oh yeah.
So, do you think at this stage, do you learn anything about yourself during this lockdown period?
It's a hard to answer because I'm not so locked down. Like I'm working every day, like working a lot.
Yeah.
If anything, I'm finding out more about myself working at my local deli for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Such as?
Just, things that make you tick, things that make you happy.
Okay, cool.
Working with the public in this time, like it's interesting. Being on the front lines of all the stuff unfolding and how I'm dealing with it and everything it's new. It's eye-opening.
Yeah, and if you've never done any form of work where you have to serve the public in some way, I always feel like you can't relate to the challenges that brings in itself. But also, I think it says a lot about the type of person you are, that you can enjoy that, because a lot of people don't.
Absolutely.
Okay, what advice would you give to fledgling bands who have just started up, say in this last year, and have hit this brick wall that is COVID? What advice could you give if you could?
I say if you're a new band that's just blooming and starting out, I think that this is the time for material. I think you can. It's tough because I think that writing like gets better as time goes on. So right now it's a very condensed period of that. Yeah. But I think that every band, like even including ourselves, I was talking to Nick and he was like, yeah, I've been writing a ton of music. I just am like by myself. I think that this is a time to just get material.
Yeah.
Like, you might as well, if you have all these shows and everything taken away from you, you might as well counter that with a 1-2 punch of like, oh yeah, here's another record. Like, why not?
Absolutely. The funny thing is, out of this, we could end up in 2021 with a lot of bands not just releasing new material, but releasing some of their best stuff that they wrote during a period where they never expected to be locked in a house for 4 weeks.
Exactly. So that would be my advice. Just write. Just write. Practice.
Yep.
Get better. Get your chops. Start playing other music. Like learn a weird song. Learn an easy song. Like expand your playing. Like that's just, you have all this time.
Yeah, basically don't be waiting to get out live. You've got this time. Use it.
Absolutely.
Right, your final nomination then. What's the last thing? Because you're 4 for 4. I can't see why you wouldn't be 5 for 5.
I can, because I'm such a pleasant guy. I don't really hate that many things, or that many things don't annoy me. It's so tough. I got to think about it. Maybe I should do. I should do like a film or something. I see you have the Marvel Cup there. I'm thinking about Marvel right now.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, let's take a U-turn here, and we'll go to media. And I'm not excited. What is it? The phases?
Yeah.
Or like with the films. With the films.
Yeah. The phase,
Yeah.
like phase 1 and phase 2.
Exactly. I'm not excited for any of this new shit that's fucking coming.
Okay.
I think it's fucking played out. Like, come on. You had a monarchy for 10 years.
Yeah.
Of box office smash hits and like all this stuff, and it was mostly good. But seeing this new stuff roll out, it's like, it seems like it's becoming a bit of a one-trick pony, and like I couldn't be like more bored with that.
You're right. I mean, here's the thing, right? Marvel Cup aside, and that is literally a cup I'm drinking out of. I'm not even a big fan. But like you, I've seen almost everything of the 10-year period.
Right, yeah.
And as you said, mostly good fun a lot of the time and stuff like that. But I'm not looking at whatever the next phase is and going, can't wait for to do it again.
Exactly.
It kind of reminds me of like a long-running TV show when they kind of get played out and you're like, oh, we're going to have another season, even though...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like Walking Dead or like something like that. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like,
I was literally thinking of The Walking Dead, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, or like maybe these content producers not being able to pull the plug on an idea. I say throw that in the pit. Like, come on. Like, nobody needs to see this again. We can't get into a routine here. We need to develop.
It's really interesting because, I say, you get this impression that, it's all played out and everybody's sort of can recognize that. Yeah, but then they still earn so much money.
Right, and that's like sad.
Yeah. And it makes you go, huh. And Disney Plus just came over to the UK a few weeks ago. And I'm not a Disney guy. My wife isn't a Disney guy. So I was like, well, we won't bother with that. We've got no need for that.
Yeah, but you watch Mandalorian, right?
I was about to say, and before I came on with this, just finished episode 7 of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
Shit, dude. You don't even know what you're in store for.
For some reason, they keep drip feeding it in this country, one every week. So it was episode 7, and it was like,
really?
God damn it, yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that, like, I do love that. Mando has been the best.
It is, like, really good.
It's really, really good. And that's actually, it's funny because of what I was shitting on, like, the Marvel, like, universe and what they're doing. Like, Star Wars kind of did that, and then they're coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
maybe they realized it, and they were like, okay, we need to really change it up.
Well, it seemed like they did, didn't they? Because they did like Rogue One, and that didn't do so well.
But I love Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was fucking brilliant compared to the other shit that they were putting out.
I agree.
Like the Skywalker trilogy or whatever.
And then they did the Solo movie, and that really didn't earn what they expected. And then they seemed to back off and go, okay, maybe it's overkill and we need to slow it down.
Right, and they like shook it up. They gave the franchise to a new, like, Jon Favreau. It's like, hey, why don't you take your spin on this? And I think that's great.
Yeah.
Like a complete new direction for the franchise, which I like.
Which doesn't seem from what we gather with Marvel, it seems like it's going to continue as we previously saw, and that's not that exciting. And weirdly enough, it does tie into horror because horror moves in cycles, and we've been stuck in this.
What the Blumhouse fucking age, or sorry, I've been thinking about horror because I'm not the biggest horror fan, but I do watch and read about like the Blumhouse productions and stuff, and there's a lot of good stuff in there, but there's a lot of crap too.
They're the dominant force at the moment, which and no one ever stays on top forever. So just wait and see, really, until it crashes, basically.
Exactly, yeah, and I can even tie this back into Elder that, I feel like we took new directions on every album and you know, a step forward or something, and it's bad to get locked into this like comfortable past that even you'll upset people, but I think you'll gain new fans and more conversation when you change. So
very few bands can stick to type. Very few have been able to do it. Even the likes of Maiden branched out here and there with some different albums.
Oh,
But
man.
the likes of Slayer are very rare. Very rare.
Right, exactly. And I just want to say, I'm a pretty big fan of the X Factor, but like, give me all the Blaze Bailey you can get. Let's go. It is such a cool, bad album. I love it.
You might be one of the few people in the world who would say they love the X Factor.
Oh man.
Yeah, you're 5 for 5. I totally agree. Congratulations, all of them. No problem. So we're going to wrap it up then with really, I guess, about the future of Elder. It's difficult to talk to because everything is on hold and you're in the same position as everyone else. We're
Right.
just waiting, really. And that's it, isn't it?
It's waiting. I do have one hope.
Cool.
And so everything has been postponed until the fall.
Yeah.
And, that's touch and go still. And, okay, that's what we have to deal with.
Yeah.
I do have this hope that all these festivals, that every band, not just Elder, even the South by Southwest, that sort of stuff, that all these bands that work so hard were booked for.
Yeah.
If everything goes the way it does, I just hope that next year it just moves like nothing ever happened. That everything just gets replaced, like all the festivals, like Wacken, we were supposed to play Roskilde, the Danish festival. Like next year they have the same lineup. Don't snub these bands that work so hard to make it to these places, and give them the opportunity to fulfill the destiny that they were booked for. That would be perfect for me.
I would expect that pretty much. I mean, because surely I would think from a festival booking perspective, it's just easier, right? If, other than your giants, your headliners, who you may have other plans, majority of the bands, I imagine, you're gonna need to get out and play live,
right?
So no one's gonna be like, oh no, I can't do it because we were gonna go in the studio, because none of that's been planned, I guess.
Exactly, and so my hope is that everything just takes a pause.
Yes.
And we can hit play next year.
It's gonna be one of those Men in Black, put the thing,
exactly.
and let's just forget 2020 happened, and 2021 will be it.
Right, and the bands that were booked, they might play new material that they wrote in the interim, but just don't snub them. These bands work so hard, and I just it saddens me to think about all these cool festivals that Elder was about to play, and then we're not playing them anymore. So I want to play them.
Yeah. And as always, it's simply watch this space. We'll see where we're at it's changing week by week. We'll see where we're at next week. We'll see where we're at in a month. And simply put, at this point, it's an exciting time for Elder. New album is out now, 24th. So available everywhere you listen to music.
Every which way.
Everything. Couldn't be any easier to get your music now. And there's no excuse to go, oh, that's too long. I haven't got time for that. You're stuck indoors.
Yeah, absolutely right, man.
And even if you're a key worker, essential worker, you got to get to work. That's what headphones are for.
I hear you, man, for sure.
Jack, thank you very much for taking part in the Dead Pit.
Carl, thank you so much. I hope I didn't shake things up too much, but it was a pleasure meeting and talking with you.
It's been a blast, man.
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/GBHBL, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?